to the channel. I'm Moedotj and we are locked in. This is We Own This City Part 4 on HBO Max. Last week we had Sergeant Allers and he was telling his side of the story. We also know that all of the other officers, they're starting to cooperate and tell everything that's going on. So right now, all fingers are looking like they're pointed to Wayne Jenkins. Now, before we jump into this episode, shout out to the notification gang. If you're new to the channel, you'll be a part of it. Hit the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so you get something every time I upload. Hit that like button, it's the easiest thing you can do. Now, we moving forward. We got a new person that we need to sit down and interview. Is he going to tell everything? More than likely, because no one is trying to do hard jail time. So let's jump into it. This is HBO Max, We Own This City, Part 4. We start this episode off right into some action. Now there's a kid going out to an Acra, and Wayne Jenkins, he sees him with a bag. He's like, oh yeah, they gotta have drugs. Now his partner is saying it is 7:30 in the morning. He said, don't care, let's go. Wayne Jenkins, he's an all-out menace. Now they hit the lights and they pull up on these two gentlemen. They run because they don't see anybody identify themselves as police officers or show a badge. All they seen was guns. Now, while in pursuit, you hear dispatch telling Jenkins, cancel the pursuit because they're in a residential area and it's real dangerous. So just let them go. You know what I'm saying? Their plates and everything is coming back clean. Jenkins doesn't take the advice, and these alleged suspects, they actually hit these two in this car. So now Wayne is in a tight situation because they told you to cancel the pursuit. His partner actually searches the car, doesn't find anything. He searches the two suspects, doesn't find anything. So Wayne, he needs to make a call to get him up out this jam. This other officer pulls up to the scene. This is after Wayne has just made a phone call. Say, hey, I might need something up here. I need some help. Now you see this officer, he nods at Wayne Jenkins and he goes over to the car. And right after that, Jenkins tells Sean, hey, go search the car just one more time just to see if we missed anything. And would you look at that? This officer comes over here and then Sean finds some drugs right up under the seat. Coincidence? And Jenkins is like, I told you. But you can look at Sean's demeanor and he's looking around. How did we miss this easy drug bag up under the seat? We done took out the spare tire, everything out of the back seat. And Jenkins like, yep, I knew it. And you can hear the suspects saying, hey man, y'all planted that. And they aren't even suspects. They planted these drugs. Now the officer we have this week, giving his perspective, is Detective Maurice Ward. Now he's in here and he's a part of GTTF also. He's up under Wayne Jenkins. But you hear him tell his lawyer, I'm gonna tell him a little bit, but I also want to apologize before we get into anything. I'm sorry for what I did. Basically, he's trying to get that light in jail sentence. So when they come into court, oh, Maurice Ward, yeah, he cooperated with us. Let's take it easy on him, Your Honor. Now they're asking Maurice Ward, did you know anything about Jenkins? And guess what he says? Sean Shooter, you know, the guy over in Homicide now, the guy that used to work with Wayne, he said you need to watch out for Wayne. Learn what you can from him and then separate yourself, because the precinct and everyone in the police force, they're going to look out for Wayne Jenkins because of all the work that he does. And he said, I wish I would have took that advice from Sean. Now Ward, he's also spilling the beans. He wrote down a list of things. Now he's saying that one night, him and Jenkins, they went out. Now Jenkins is telling these gentlemen, I'm a federal agent. We have a wiretap. This doesn't concern you guys, but since we smell marijuana, it's in the air. We need to search the vehicle. Next, he tells Maurice Ward, pull the vehicle up because when we search this car, there might be some stuff we need to get out of here. And I don't want, you know what I'm saying, the locals to see what's going on. Of course, Jenkins finds a bag of money back there. And what does he do? He puts it in the car. Oh, Ward, go ahead and let them go. These aren't the two that we want. Y'all be good. Y'all go ahead, get on in the house. Wayne Jenkins is going to do what Wayne Jenkins want to do. After this stop where they illegally search the car and they steal the money, they go into an alley to split it up. Now Jenkins does give them $5,000 a piece and the rest is going to him. He's talking about he's going to buy a crash bar for his police issued vehicle. And they're like, what? But what Jenkins is telling them, listen, take this money, don't spend it all at once. And that goes for anybody. Whenever you come up with some money like that, don't go pay off all your bills. Just let a little bit out. This way you're unnoticeable. And we've seen Jenkins talking about how flashy Herschel and them was. You remember when they had the barbecue? He was like, what is this, Pat Ron? What is this? I don't know what this is. Don't be flashy with your money. Now what Maurice says is once they get the money, They're about to head to a strip club, and there's more to this story. But his $5,000, he put it back in the bag. One, because his wife is a Baltimore Police Department officer also, and that was just too much money. That's different than taking a couple $100. $5,000, he said he didn't feel comfortable with it. They go to the strip club, they got money, they got their guns on there. Well, they stole some money and they went to the strip club, but Jenkins sees one. Now, Maurice and them, they're talking about, what are you doing? Because he took a little person, a dwarf, off the stage and said he's gonna go in the back. Well, guess what? He comes out, grabs his beer and say, hey, we got to get up out of here. He then robbed the stripper. Wayne Jenkins was on another level of corrupt. Even they in the car, they joking around at first, like, sorry, she put it on you. He's like, nah, man, I took the money and I got up out of there. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, hey, that ain't right, bro. Like, come on, man. We stealing from drug dealers. Now you stealing from a little person. Today is officially Wayne Jenkins Day. And the reason we say that is because he just got his third stripe and he's promoted to sergeant. Now, everyone's out here. You got Jamel, Momodu, got Herschel, and they're going through this gentleman's Impala. He doesn't have anything on him. But Jenkins comes out. He's showing off. Yeah, he big flexing. He talking about, matter of fact, all y'all come by tonight. Let's grab some drinks. I done already bought some beers, so let's make it happen. Jenkins, it ain't no way he should have slipped through the cracks like this, but that just shows you everybody had their hand in the cookie jar. Sean arrives to court because they're doing jury selection. And right now you hear everyone getting up and telling the judge why they can't be on the jury because they're going to be biased going against the Baltimore Police Department. And all of them have stories. I was beat by the police. I was pulled over. They said I was buying drugs. I was leaving my sister's house after she just had a baby. So all of this will disqualify you because they want the jurors to be down the middle, hear the evidence from both sides. But you can't do that when everyone is being harassed by the Baltimore PD. None of the cops can be trusted. You remember, there's a list of people who can't even take the stand in Baltimore Police Department. The hardest working woman in civil rights, Miss Nicole. Now her co-worker is showing her some paperwork saying, you remember all those cops on that list that we were just talking about can't take the stand? Well, they're not off the streets. They're still working. The only thing is, since they can't take the stand and testify about what happened, they'll get these arrests, they'll book them, and then the crime never goes to court. It basically just gets dropped. Throw it on out because they can't testify. But they're still clocking in overtime and they're still arresting people. See how that works? You bring them in, you ain't got to worry about testifying. They're going to let them right back out. But I get that arrest and I get the overtime. Jenkins is on a patrol. They're searching a car. They find a gun and some drugs. During this, his wife calls him like, hey, your son got hit in football. He really needs you. So after he goes to handle that, he goes to Double D's. You remember the Bell's bondsman that he goes to the strip club with? And he's saying, oh, next weekend, I can't go out with you. You know what I'm saying? I got to stay here, do some stuff with my son. But he also starts to talk about, hey, you remember that thing you mentioned? Because this is a Bell's bondsman. So all he has to do is get bounty hunters to go get people. But Jenkins goes to his house later on and he's talking about how everyone's harping on him for not having any money. You remember he only brought $40 worth of crabs and everybody else had steak? Yeah, just like that. So right now the Bell's bondsman is saying there's some coke and it'll be about 15. Jenkins is like, is there any more? He said, let's work with this. 15,000 to come in steadily, but we'll just work from here. So Jenkins is hearing it like, shit, 15,000? That's a start. I can work with that. Avengers Assemble. I don't know if it's the Avengers or not, but we got our star team here. We got Erica, Lou, Kilpatrick, McDougal, and they're all meeting up. Now, Erica, believe it or not, she used to be in the streets. So she ran into our boy, Wayne Jenkins. And she's saying, I don't think he's corrupt or anything. I mean, he was a little cowboy, but he seems legit. So I'm going to tell him we're doing an investigation into Momodu and Jamel and tell him to steer clear of him. Now, Kilpatrick here on the left, you see him making a face because they got a wiretap with Jenkins on it. And the two people that are their narcotic suspects, in the conversation, it seems like they know that Wayne Jenkins is dirty. So that's why they're saying, hey, let's hold off from telling Wayne Jenkins about this investigation because he might be a part of it. I told you, Nicole and Ahmed, they working extremely hard. After she got that list and found out that people are still working, who did she go to? Commissioner Davis. And what she's talking to Commissioner Davis about is, hey, you said all of this started with the commissioner before you, correct? He's like, yeah, it's just, it's in limbo right now. It's going on. And she's listening like, then why are the cops still working on the streets? They should be doing admin work, at least if you guys aren't going to suspend them. And he's like, yeah, well, it is what it is, basically. Now you hear her in the hall talking to Ahmed, and she's saying, listen, everyone's making money, but ain't nothing changing. Basically, y'all got cops out here and y'all arresting more people, but no crime or anything is going down. So she needs to figure out, why are there still cops working when civil rights are being violated? Because that's all she cares about, is the civil rights of the people. Another incident, Wayne Jenkins. Now he's riding through the city and he ends up hitting the man. Now we see him searching the guy's pocket because he done messed up again. The car is flipped over, everything. Jenkins is busted up. So he's telling one of the officers on the scene, hey, look for a gun. Because right now he has to stage this to make it look like this guy pulled a gun on him and that's why he swerved and hit him. But there's no gun here. Jenkins is on his phone. We heard him make a call in the first scene. Now he's making another call. Kevin, can you come down here and help me? I need a gun ASAP. Jenkins' old partner pulls up, the one from the first scene, and he's like, what the hell did you do here, Jenkins? And now he's trying to tell this BS story. Oh, he pulled a gun on me and then I swerved and I hit him. But his partner knows how Jenkins get down, and he's like, all right, everyone fan out and look for a gun. But there's no gun here. So he just has people looking, and Jenkins is trying to stall until this gun can get to the scene. Just what Jenkins needed, someone looking out for him. They place a gun. Kevin placed a gun behind the back tire, and he said, don't worry about it. A plainclothes will find it. Basically, if someone else finds it, then it's like, okay, Jenkins wasn't lying. Because if Jenkins found him, like, Jenkins, what did you do with that? But they found the gun, and Jenkins is saved for another day. Well, guess what? Now Eric is starting to find out that Jenkins may be a little crooked, because they went and found an arrest that Jenkins did. Now, the camcorder recorded it. They showed that Jenkins didn't find anything, and after 60 minutes of talking to him, the tape cuts out. But since Jenkins didn't find anything on tape, when they go back and look at the arrest sheet, what do we find out? There was drugs in there. But the district attorney threw it out because it didn't add up. It didn't make any sense. And the reason the DA dropped it is because they were looking at the arrest, the tape didn't show anything, and then she got a text message from Wayne Jenkins saying, you're destroying my character. This isn't a promise, this isn't a threat. So she's starting to look at it like, okay, let me report this to Internal Affairs. And Internal Affairs, what do? They investigated and they just suspended Jenkins for 20 days, allegedly. Now it turns out Wayne Jenkins didn't even get suspended for this. And what happened? Unfortunately, Freddie Gray happened. When he passed, there was the protest going on. Now we see Jenkins here in the command center and he's getting hyped up. But he's like, man, we're not about to let them terrorize us police officers. No, we're going to fight back. So he grabs one of the sergeants and they head on out. And he takes a van, and I'm talking about the worst driver you ever want to be with is Wayne Jenkins. Now this actually happened. When they got on the scene, Wayne Jenkins took one of the prison vans and he went to pick up injured officers that may have got hit by a rock or probably dehydrated. And this fool actually got awards for this. He actually got awards for going here and saving other officers. But then he takes the line with a shield. And this is where Jenkins goes back into being Wayne Jenkins. They hold in the line, and I'm never holding the line. But they hold the line, someone throws a brick, Wayne chases after him, hits him with the little shield, and they drag him back, lock his ass up. But that's what Wayne wanted to do. He wanted to get out here and get some revenge. Now everyone's out here in their tactical gear. You heard people complaining, man, I can't fit this uniform. And that's usually how it is, especially for police officers. They don't have no physical training standards or anything like that. But Sean goes over to the major and he's like, sir, what are we going to do about that car? because it's a patrol car that caught on fire. It's not even white anymore, all black and gray. The major said, man, fuck that car. Basically, we got to look out for ourselves. That's it. But Sean's looking at how everyone's acting. And this ain't what he wants in this city. He joined the police force to serve and protect. Now we see Wayne Jenkins. He shows back up later on that night after becoming a hero by day. Yeah, he saves everybody because he shows up with $600 worth of chicken to give to all of the officers that been out here on the scene. And everyone's looking like, $600 worth of chicken? Where you get this money from? But you got to remember, he's in these streets. He's taking money at will. Later on that evening, Jenkins is out in the streets patrolling by himself, and he stumbles across a Rite Aid. Two gentlemen come out and they're looting. Of course, they got drugs in here. What else you getting from Rite Aid? A Dr. Pepper? But Jenkins tells him to get out of here. And what does he do? He looks in the bag, looks around, and of course, this is Wayne Jenkins. You think he's about to let these prescriptions go to waste? He takes them. He takes all of the drugs over to the bail bondman house. He's like, what am I gonna do with this? He's like, man, I don't know what none of these drugs are. Now he's talking about this is Oxy. That goes for $100 a pill. Jenkins is like, oh, okay, cool. More money for us. He said, fool, who am I gonna sell this shit to? I'm not about to just be out here selling one pill at a time. What is this? Jenkins is just in over his head any way to make money. Back at the precinct in the break room, we see Marilyn Mosby on TV. And what she's doing is reading off the charges for all of the police officers that may have done something, ranging from second-degree murder to assault and things of that nature. Now, I have a rant that I'm uploading Wednesday about Marilyn Mosby to talk about her corrupt self and her corrupt husband, but that's a whole nother story. Now, you hear Wayne Jenkins and other officers saying, man, this is messed up. They can't do that. No one's going to want to work if we're getting charges pressed on us for doing our job. No, you're getting charges pressed on you for not doing your job. But Jenkins, he's talking about, I'm going to go get pensions from all of the retired officers and sheriffs, and we're going to put together some money to try to fight these charges. Ward might as well tell a tell-all book. Now, he's talking about one arrest that he made with Jenkins. Jenkins was driving down the wrong way, and they stopped this van. And inside this van, it was two black gentlemen and a book bag with a key of coke in it. Now, Jenkins has his theory, anyone over the age of 18 with a book bag is carrying drugs. But what Jenkins does next, he runs this gentleman's name in a database to get his address. And Jenkins is saying, we need to go to the house. I'm sure he got way more money there. Now, mind you, they just ran this man's name through a database. No warrant, just went straight to his house once they got his address. And when they get here, they find a safe. While they're there, they tell Ward, stay here. They're going to go get a warrant. But in real life, they went to go get a crowbar because they trying to break open this safe. Now, Ward said he was here for a couple of hours. Now, when they crack open the safe, they said there was well over $100,000 in there. So Jenkins says, all right, count out $100,000 and put it back in the safe. And the rest, we're going to split. But what we need to do is record this from the time that you open it to the time that you see the money so we can go ahead and submit it. This way, when they report it, it's $100,000. It doesn't look like they took anything because $100,000 is a significant amount of money for a drug bust. Now, of course, these three, they heard Jenkins say, record it and he's going to go upstairs. Basically, Jenkins doesn't want to be on camera footage. So he wants them to reenact it. He said, once you open it up, call me down here and act surprised. Now, Ward, he's looking a little iffy, like, are y'all really going to do this? They like, man, we got to. You see, he got his camera phone out on the right. Now we see the actual recording. Jenkins comes down. Good job, boys. Hold on, step back. Is there more than $5,000? Oh, it is? We need to report this federally. So Jenkins is playing along with it too. And what does he do? He calls the feds. Oh yeah, we got $100,000 here in 3 keys. So he's selling, but ain't nobody really buying it because we ultimately know Jenkins goes to jail. But in this case, they get away with some money. We get back in the interrogation room and Ward's finishing up the story. Now he's saying him and the other 2 brothers, they all got $20,000 apiece. That puts us at $60,000. There was well over $100,000 in there. So if they got 60, that means Jenkins probably got 60 to himself. But they said we're gonna let Jenkins keep that because he's Wayne Jenkins, a legend. But then Maurice Ward says when he got home, his $20,000, he threw it out in the woods. He didn't want to bring it in his house because his wife is a Baltimore police officer. Do you believe him? Now we hear Wayne Jenkins specifically detailing what exactly is going on here. Now, the first thing he's talking about is how much money everyone is making in here. Now, we hear him say his base salary is $85,000 and he made $83,000 in overtime. We also heard Ward say his base is like 70 and he made $63,000 in overtime. So everybody's listening like, damn, it's really a lot of money out here. But we know that that comes from overtime fraud, and he breaks it down even more. What he tells everyone on the gun trace task force is, look, you know why they made me sergeant and put me in charge? Because I'm the golden boy. No one on the police force thinks that Wayne Jenkins is going to do any wrong. Now we're going to work from 8 to 4, but we're not going to come into work till 2 o'clock. Meaning they're only going to work 2 hours and try to make up for the whole day by just arresting multiple people and stealing money from 2 to 4. And this is how they get overtime. The more people they arresting, the more guns they bring in. And Jenkins said it himself, as long as we're reaching the numbers, no one's going to ever say anything. So that means they're going to be out here just working non-stop. Yeah, it's 8 to 4. They only go in from 2 to 4. They may end up working till 7 or 8 at night, patrolling, following the lead. This is overtime fraud. And what does Jenkins tell them? When we get here, we gonna work. We hunting. Basically, they about to get out here and just terrorize the streets. But we already seen it firsthand. This is the 4th episode. And the last thing we see, the $20,000 that Ward had is still out here in the woods up under some leaves. What do you think? All right, let me know what you think about Maurice Ward. Do you really think that he got rid of that $20,000? Me personally, I think he may have got rid of, let's just say like 5 or 10, and he still kept 5 or 10. But I don't think he got rid of the whole 20, because if that was the case, he would have gave it to the other 2 dudes. But who knows? Let me know what you think. Make sure you tune in tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, for the live after show discussion of We Own This City, Part 4. I'm Moedotj. If you like the content on the channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. I'm out.
Jimmy on the beat, boy.